Over the past few years, the public consciousness has slowly begun to realize the immense impact mental health has on our society, our communities, and our overall well-being. Now, ever more as we are united in this global ordeal, we have been isolated and we have been struggling. Now, with fewer resources, we find ourselves less able to cope with the mounting pressure of everyday life. We struggle within our hearts and within our minds. It has fallen upon the online community to support one another at this time. We are seeing significant results from an approach called group therapy, where people can get relief from the comfort of their own home. Group therapy can help individuals understand themselves within the context of their own relationships. To make more informed, healthy, and adaptive choices. When individuals take it upon themselves to make decisions based upon a deeper awareness, their feelings, their personal behaviors, their reactions, and their patterns, then real healing can begin. Together, we can gain self-acceptance, trust, self-responsibility, and a thing we need all right now, which is emotional intelligence, and help grow our capacity for greatness. You might be having doubts at this, if this is for you, but really this is for everyone. If you struggle with addiction to substances or shopping or food, if you feel isolated, if you struggle with anger or anxiety, feel desperate, lost, or overwhelmed, then yes, this is for you. If you feel stuck and can't find your way out, we are here to lend that helping hand. We all get struggles, we all get stuck, and we all need help. Closeness and togetherness, intimacy, are integral to human development and experience. And no matter what stage your life you're in, we all have the potential to grow emotionally and relationally. Everyone can benefit from joining a group. I want to tell you a little bit about my story. I was a construction contractor and I was intensely miserable in my job, but I persisted because I was good at it. I was surrounded by a lot of people who felt the same as me. At that time I thought I should just make the best of it, but I was so unhappy. When thinking back on that time, it seems that I was either angry or withdrawn, controlling or caretaking in almost all my relationships. I wouldn't have wanted to hang out with the man I was back then. When my unhappiness with my work continued and my relationships continued to break down or stay superficial, I then fell into addictive tendencies that helped take the edge off the reality of my troubled life. That was a difficult time for me, but it got worse. Things really started to get real for me. I had finished this big contract and had paid all my staff before going to the construction company's head office to collect my payment. It was for €40,000, and it was a sunny day. I feel the spring in my step, and as I skipped up to the intercom and said, "Hey, it's Nigel here. I'm here to pick up my check today." And then the voice spoke back through the intercom, cold and decisive. "I'm sorry, you're not getting your check today. The company has filed for bankruptcy." Wow, obviously I was furious. But as time passed, I went silent. After that, I tried to continue life as usual. Inside, I felt like a failure. And I was committed to playing the role in my everyday life. In those troubled years, I was so self-critical. I was beating myself up in my own personal swimming pool of self-defeat. I wasn't happy. But one day, a friend said to me, "Hey, you need to talk to somebody. Do you realize that you could be depressed?" I went, wow. I didn't really know what the word meant then, but I agreed that I didn't feel good. So then I went and spoke to a therapist. After that therapeutic encounter, I started therapy, and I started group therapy. Well, this was the experience that allowed me to be able to engage with life. I began to open up and started to feel more and share more, and learned how to lean in to life instead of avoiding it. I began to work through some of my childhood traumas that were haunting me. Now, I have been training for over 16 years, working as a therapist. I have facilitated over 140 retreats globally and helping people live the life that they were born to live. And over the span of the last 14 years, I've been running multiple weekly groups. And I really believe I've found my calling. Whilst treating so many people in the space of just over a decade, I realized that my services weren't reaching a wide enough audience. And this is the reason why we birthed WellBeings, so we can reach people globally and give everyone the help they need to get back on their feet. For me, there was a profound moment when I knew I had found my place. I found my thing. I was walking into group one day, and I didn't have anything in particular to share. And as people started to share their stories, and one of them resonated so deeply with me that it started to shake me in my core. I began to cry so deeply I thought it would never stop. And this was followed by a bout of uncontrollable laughter that I wasn't sure would stop either. I thought my insides were going to fall out. But when I looked up, and wow, I saw that people were still with me, and they were connected with me. Wow, I felt so disarmed, so vulnerable, so authentic, that it brought me back to life in ways I didn't even know existed. And yet, that was the moment for me in this ordinary support group. I had discovered what I truly needed. And at that moment, I realized I needed to train in this so I could help other people around the world who are suffering and struggling just like me. But I want to slow it down for a moment. I want to check in with you right now. What's your biggest struggle or frustration which is holding you back? What happens when you think of this question? Or how does your body respond to that? How is it feeling? And maybe just keep staying with these feelings as I talk some more. And if you stay to the end of this video with me, maybe, just maybe, a door will open, and it will be up to you if you want to walk through it and visit someplace new. So how can we improve your mental health and well-being? Well, first, let me talk a little bit about the history of group. Our ancestors would sit around the fire and talk about a hard day's work, sing of adventure, sharing important stories with the community. And if I go back in time a little bit to my extended family, we once had a farm, and in summertime we would all farm potatoes. Cousins and aunties, uncles, neighbors, and friends would come together. And after all the hard work, we would connect by telling stories, playing, laughing, crying. It was those summer months we could be truly authentic with each other. These were some of the most fondest memories of my childhood. I kind of get a little feeling in my heart right now, feeling into that. But however, nowadays we are far from having a sense of community, a responsive environment. In this modern age, we have adapted to become overly self-reliant, isolated, and distant. The WellBeings group experience molded from this sense of community from the past so many of us miss and long for. We provide reliable and responsive environments with a community full of kindred spirits where we can once again touch each other's hearts and reshape each other's minds. That feels good, right? If you don't think that learning to connect with others can truly benefit yourself and others, I understand that. I really do. But how's that loneliness going for you? Speaking from personal experience and what I've seen in the groups, when you bottle stuff up, it just eats away at you. When you don't share your ordinary struggles, you will self-medicate, withdraw, become aggressive, controlling, caretaking, or bitter. But isn't that so lonely? To not let anybody in? We all deserve the chance for connection. On my journey, I realized that I needed to feel my own pain. But a massive shift occurred when I realized that I didn't need to be alone with it. I realized we could all work together to resolve any struggle, any personal or relational issue. Significant change starts to happen when we feel safe enough to share our stories. You might be wondering if this is safe. And in response to that, I urge you to bring your sense of unsafety into the group. Because when we dare to be authentic and be vulnerable with one another, that is when you can begin to feel safe as trust starts to grow. And it's also entirely private and confidential as long as your bedroom, office, or home is private. Then your session will be private as well. Confidentiality is taken care of within our terms of service. But if you're honestly questioning if simply sharing your thoughts can help, ask yourself this: does bottling it up help? Does pretending everything's okay really help? Is drinking alcohol to forget really helping? Is distancing and busying yourself from the people you love and overworking really helping? Just think about that for a minute. So I invite you to experience sharing. I believe that many of you will be surprised what you will discover. Sharing will provide you with the capacity to function better, know yourself more, and improve your mental health. Together we can grow and develop psychologically, relationally, behaviorally, and emotionally when we can flourish together. When I was younger, I had a spiritual teacher. Wow, and she would always keep telling me, Nigel, it's not about finding this great love in your life. It's about finding all the ways you block letting that love in. Oh, yeah. It could be fears, avoidance strategies, intimacy issues, vices, and addictions. You know, many of us shoulder these outdated beliefs from our forefathers with dated concepts like men don't cry. You should be seen and not heard. You need to be strong. Never show your weakness. But these beliefs do not serve or benefit us. In fact, they hinder us. All these outdated ideals need to be challenged and questioned to grow into a new understanding and explore what happens when we drop these borrowed ideals in favor of enriching our lives. Together we can make the previously impossible possible. Many arrive in our group feeling underdeserving or believing they are not good enough to be heard and understood. I'm scared, it's not safe, I'll be rejected. Hey, these are all normal feelings of withdrawal or disengagement and avoidance, often caused by never having access to a responsive environment. The WellBeings group experience is a community of ordinary people who join to create a responsive and reliable environment for one another. They check in with you, call you out if needed, and look out for you. This safety lights the way to new learning, how to make peace with parts of ourselves that you have been running away from. So finally you can rest, get the relief, or improve your self-understanding. This is such a vital skill within our current world. It helps to improve your understanding, learn to navigate uncertainty, develop clear-headedness and centeredness, be able to engage in life in face of all of life's hopes, hurts, loves and losses. My experience of developing authenticity helped me begin cultivating vulnerability, improving my capacity to be genuine, and make peace with uncertainty and the unknown. I began to feel comfortable in my own skin. These years of growing and blossoming really happened because of having new lived experiences and not by just reading books. This real lived experiences in group began to reshape me. And then I started this lifelong journey to cultivate the closeness and togetherness along with shaping my own individuated mind. The lists of the results from our members is so long, but still I want to share a few examples. Our members start to observe a stronger ability to manage their stress in their personal and work lives. They grew a new understanding of themselves and others, which cultivated closeness and vulnerability. Members reaped the benefits of more self-honesty and a much needed ability to slow down. But as I sit here, I remember a story of one of our members. After being in group for 3 months, she started to realize that she lived the same life as her mother, her grandmother, and her great-grandmother. She lived precariously through her children and her husband. She didn't actually have a life of her own. She was caretaking everyone, overcompensating all the time, and busy from morning to night. And if you asked her how she was, she would say, "I'm okay. How are you?" But she really wasn't okay. She was deeply alone, lost, and depressed. So when she started to gradually speak from these places within her, she began to build a sense of self for the first time. And then she began to reap the rewards of a new spaciousness that followed from her moving through these held, uncomfortable pains and truths that she had that nobody knew about. And over the following months, she shared how her relationship with her children changed. She was no longer suffocating them. And she heard her children say that she wasn't as angry anymore and that she was calmer. And the passion started to grow again with her husband. So even the husband was getting the benefits of group. But the main thing here is that when we come together, these shifts can happen for everybody. This is normal, but it may not be normal for you yet. And I understand that people may also still be thinking, I'm not going to feel safe. It's not going to be safe to reveal myself. I'm not going to set myself up to be rejected. But again, everyone, these are usual fears, but if left unchallenged, can keep you pulled back into the dull safety of an unfulfilled life. WellBeings is a community where all these struggles, beliefs, fears, and survival strategies are welcome. Because maybe for the first time they have a place or a home where they can be really understood and explored. Within the group process, you will discover that most group members share the same fears and struggles as you. You are not alone, but often we think we are, but we are not. So we need to learn new ways to be with people, to relearn how to be with others in new, meaningful ways. Our group members are experiencing this in our online groups right now. And some of them are isolated due to the current global ordeal, which we're all experiencing. And people can get the relief in this time, even with limited movement, from the comfort of their own homes. And they can get this missing ingredient called connection. Connection is so important. We've been exploring this online landscape for the last 6 years now. And it works. It so works. I had a lot of experience working at the beginning with people in the military or remote mining locations and people from other backgrounds where online therapy just wasn't an option. I was so motivated by the positive response, the changes and the shifts that I saw. So from my computer screen, I could reach out to the hearts of many. From this, I realized online group therapy can be just as effective as in-person group therapy. And another common theme that I noticed, that when you're in person in a group or online in a group, when someone speaks to you from a deep place that pulls you, you start to listen more with your whole body when the person is speaking from a place of truth or a place of vulnerability. Then, when they are listening, the listener pulls the speaker into a deeper place of expression, inviting them even further into their truth and vulnerability. Another notable point, I noticed people's authentic and true selves emerge when they tell their stories. They regain life, they become much more animated and expressive. When people are given the opportunity to share their vulnerability, they get a new and much needed breath of life. I hope you're getting this, because this type of support is more accessible to you than you might think. You can get it from the comfort of your own home. If you're in isolation, you can get this. If you're in your office, you can get this. Some people might say, I don't know how to connect with others. And others ask, how can I possibly connect with others online? Well, if you would like to bring your loneliness, bring your avoidance, bring your defense, bring all of you and all of your being into an online well-beings group experience, and maybe, no, absolutely, you will learn to make movements towards great change. Some of the lived experience that members talk about is cultivating self-esteem, cultivating a strong sense of value, and being important to others. Another important, potent point is that people start to grow a sense of belonging. Just feel that sense of belonging, to be part of something for who you are, not what you do. And because of who you are, that's so powerful. A deep key for change, you must just keep showing up. You just keep showing up. Consistency creates safety. Safety cultivates a more profound ability to share. And when we grow in these ways of being authentic and vulnerable and genuine with one another, and we start to feel part of something worthwhile. So what do you need so you can stop feeling alone and isolated? What do you need to build more emotional muscle and break the cycle of continual relational feelings and challenges? What do you need so you can stop beating yourself up? What are you in need of to move from isolation towards connection, from being unaware to being aware and more real? What are you in need of to help you move away from avoiding reality and moving and leaning into reality instead? I'd like to introduce you to the WellBeings group experience. You pick the same time on the same day for 12 consecutive weeks. And then in this group experience, as you enter into this landscape, you begin to take your seat around a table online, of course, from the comfort of your own home. And we can help you give your struggles a voice and learn what challenges you have that you need to overcome. And any ordeal that has you emotionally stuck. Our goal is to help you understand that with us, you're not alone, and that you can climb that mountain instead of carrying that mountain. We had a member of the group say to us, and she had the courage to say it, that she felt unsafe. And then we drew out from the story why she felt unsafe, and it leaned back into the past of her childhood, is where the unsafety came from. And someone else started to be impacted by her sharing about her unsafety. This older woman started to be impacted. And in time, she responded in a completely different way that never happened to the younger woman before. And she responded from a deep listening. And the younger woman felt for the first time, I think in her whole life, deeply seen and heard, and her heart open. Wow. I had to hold back the tears a few times. It was so beautiful to watch. Just this thing called connection. This thing called togetherness. So this is what's possible when we come together. And it's not something that happens when you're alone. So the choice that you're sitting with right now is either you're hanging out in the dull safety of, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Or you can move towards living in a new way, in the company of others. So what's your takeaway right now? What's happening for you as you hear me share these stories? Does anything resonate? What's moving in you? We now come to the place where we want to move you from being stuck to progressing towards better mental health. But there is a struggle because we all want to be connected, but we avoid it. We all want to be present, but are pulled back into the dull safety. We all want to have new movement in our lives, but we are often scared. And we're often scared of the unknown. WellBeings group experience is a responsive environment that's reliable. We can tackle your struggles instead of simply brushing them under the carpet. Let's move towards new understanding of connection and better mental health and wellness together. So how do you get these results? There's one option called quick fixes. They only take you so far. Let me tell you why. Developmental and interpersonal and relational change takes time. It just takes time. Because we are children for a very long time. We carry these patterns with us, and it takes work and time to see them. But I understand we live in a convenience world, we're drawn to these quick fixes. But fast-acting self-development strategies are often slow. Sometimes they don't work. But my preference is gradual, consistent self-development that grows deep roots in the ground and creates real change in your life. And I've seen hundreds of people blossom from the group experience where step by step they take their time and get all the missing ingredients from the group. And then they start to grow in new ways. This is so powerful when we come together. Like, who doesn't want to blossom, right? The solution for you is WellBeings, a 12-week online therapy program. And who's it for? Well, again, are you struggling in your relationships? Are you depressed? Are you suffering from any sort of addiction? And I just don't mean substances. I mean work, shopping, gambling, or food-related issues. Do you feel lost or desperate or overwhelmed? Do you have body image issues, anxiety or anger issues? Are you continually changing yourself to please others with the hope of validation? Or do you feel trapped and stuck? There's a lot of people feeling trapped and stuck in the world right now. We have adjusted our basic offering to reach more people like you in times of need like this. And we have never reduced our price like this before. You can now avail of 12 weeks of online group therapy at a third of the normal price. We're doing this because right now the world is suffering, and we're coming forth with what is needed right now, which is support and a sense of community. A lot of things have happened for us to be aligned here today. My team have created this offering with such an affordable price because we really want to help. Seeing this now at this time is not by chance. If you sign up now, you're doing this for your future new self. We just take 8 to 12 people per group. And why do we do that? You might be thinking, well, it's not about the numbers. It's about the quality. It's about the connection. I find that smaller, intimate groups tend to work best. We're not missing anyone in our group. Check your calendar for the next available start date that suits you. And then register. We will follow up with you all the way and give you all the details and support that you need. Haven't you waited long enough for change? As a member, you will get to avail of our highly experienced facilitators and therapists who are there to support you throughout your journey and towards a new, more fulfilled life with better mental health. Before we finish, I just want to tell you something. I want you to get to know me a little bit. I'm no one special. I'm actually quite ordinary. I'm not perfect. And I don't have any supernatural gifts. But I really used to struggle with my relationships, dealt with addiction, dealt with a lot of disconnection in the past. And now I can better deal with the struggles that life throws at me and understand others better with much more awareness and grace even because of group therapy. And that's what I love. When you have a support system, you don't have to worry anymore. You're not alone. But I want to make a challenge to you. How would you like to be the best version of yourself? How would you like to get the support to be the best version of yourself? If you want to grow, thrive, develop, explore, discover yourself, this group is for you. If you want to improve how you can relate to others, learn new ways to be with others, and significantly improve your mental health, this group is for you. If you want to be the light in your family and community that's more clear-headed, real, and able to connect authentically, this group is for you. And by the way, we have always needed reliable, responsive groups and communities to help us get through challenges and changes in the world. Are you ready for a new world? A new you, and all the wonderful ways that WellBeings group can help and support you? Sometimes it's a small step that makes a big difference in your life. Sometimes it's a simple change that steers you in a completely different and better direction. We are here to tell you that WellBeings online group can be that next step, that incredible, powerful catalyst that can open the door to an extraordinary world for you. So please join us. We'd love to have you on board, and we believe that you can find deep healing with us. Thank you. Thank you for your time. We look forward to meeting you. And if you're feeling it and you don't want to be alone with your pain anymore, sign up. Thank you. Thank you.